welcome back. We will learn about object oriented concepts in PHP. Basically, in any object oriented programming language, there are concepts like class, object, data abstraction, data encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, dynamic binding, passing. Since in many of the programming language you might have implemented the all these concepts of OOP paradigm like class, object, inheritance, polymorphism, etc. Today we will be seeing how to implement these OOP concepts in PHP. Starting with the very basic concept of OOP, that is class. Class is user defined data type. Why? Because as per the user's requirement of project or application, we write that data type. We can define the class as we want. Class is nothing but one entity having many properties. Like car is one entity having properties like model name, average, petrol or diesel, etc. So this is user defined data type and it act as a container in which we are grouping variables and functions in one unit. So how we can define a class in PHP? In PHP script, in the start tag and in the ending tag of PHP, if you want to define a class, start it with the keyword class, give a name to the class, and in opening and closing bracket, you have to write the functionality of the class. As I said, it is the collection of variable and function in a single unit. So we can write that code in this bracket. If you want the detailed syntax of it, we can write it in the way. If you want to declare variables inside the class, you may have access specifier like visibility modes, you can say, that is private, public, or protected, which defines the visibility of that variable inside the program. So you can declare the variable inside the class. You can have functions of variety, that is without argument or with argument inside your class, and you can close the class over here. So we will see this class implementation. As I said, class is just a container. Class never gets executed by its own. It is used for grouping purpose. That's why we say that data abstraction and data encapsulation, these both concepts are implemented by class. Data encapsulation means it is done by class only because it encapsulates, means groups variable and function in a single unit. And data abstraction means this class never execute, it hides all the background details from the execution. So this class never executes, only the executable block is this function. So, and this function executes only when we call them. So, so class is just a container. And what about if we want to access this functionality of the class outside the class? So that is done with the help of object. Class is nothing without object. Object is one representative of class. It is used to access the properties of the class, that is variable and functions of a class outside the class. I always relate the class concept with the kitchen of a restaurant or a hotel. As a customer, we don't directly go to the kitchen of the restaurant for placing the order. We go there, we sit at the table, and we are not authorized to go into the kitchen. So class is a kitchen having variables like is nothing but the having different dishes in the kitchen. We cannot access that from the table itself. and we are not allowed to go in the kitchen. So we place the order to the representative of hotel. That is, we place the order to the captain or manager or to the waiter. So this object is the variable of type class that plays a major role for accessing the properties of the class. So how we can create object in PHP? We can create it by two way. We have to give the object name. Object itself is a variable of the class. So we have the dollar symbol in front of it. Dollar object name is equal to new class name round bracket semicolon, or dollar object name is equal to new class name semicolon. We can create object by any of the ways. Now we will see a simple example of this car class and object. As I said, class is nothing but one entity which groups all its properties together. So if I say car is the class and its object can be different. So Mercedes, BMW, Audi, Nexon, EcoSport are the objects of this one class. These are the representatives of this one entity. So we will see the implementation of class and object in PHP, means how we can write the PHP class and object. So we will write the code in notepad editor with start tag as a PHP. We will start class definition with the class keyword. Now suppose I want to represent a entity like student. So I have class student and with variable roll number, and I want suppose name of the student. Now we can have function to set the roll number and display the roll number. We are not reading from the user as of now because we have not started to design the form using input controls. So we are setting the value by our own in the function. So if I am using function, name is suppose set. So I want to set the roll number and name value. So we know that this is the pointer that is used to refer to the current object only. So we are using this variable pointer to set the value of this rn variable as suppose 12. So again, this keyword is used to set the property that is n, that is name property, to suppose abc, and we are closing the function. This is the keyword which always refers to the current object. Now I have written set function to initialize the value of roll number and name by using this keyword. Now suppose I am writing one more function, show function, to display the roll number and name of student. So in show function we will be displaying like echo roll number is equal to, where we have to display this roll number, and after that suppose I want a line break, so I am using br break tag of PHP, and we want to display the name, so we are displaying it by using this and n variable. Now we are closing the show function and closing of class. So we have written this student entity with roll number and function. Now we want to access that class will not run as it by your by its own, unless and until we don't make a call to the function, and we know that function cannot be accessed outside the class without object. So suppose in PHP script we are writing one message, welcome to OP concepts in PHP. And now we want to call this set function and show function of class student. So for that we have to create object of student class. So how we can create object? Suppose dollar s1 is equal to new, name of the class is student. You can give bracket or without bracket is also executing. So we have to call the function by using object name. So object name is s1 arrow, and we have to call set function. Then again object name arrow, we have to call show function. After executing this, we normally want to suppose print thank you message, and we are done. Now we have to end our PHP script. Save this file with in C drive under our XAMPP folder, in our htdocs folder. Suppose I am saving this file with oven.php, and we are saving the file. Now we have to go to the browser, and we have to start our local host, which is available at port number 8080, but it is showing that this site can't be reached. It means we have to start our server. Go to the XAMPP control panel. It will show the panel. Start our Apache server, MySQL. Once it is started, minimize the panel. Now refresh over here at localhost. Our server is started. Now we have to open our file, which is o1.php. So it is showing that welcome to OOP concept in PHP. Roll number is 12, name is ABC, and thank you. So we have implemented the class and object concept in PHP by this way. Moving on, we have another concept, that is constructor. We know that constructor is a special method which is used to initialize the object of a class. Rather, it is used to initialize the values, variables declared inside the class. It is special because there is no need to call this constructor. It is automatically called or executed when we create object of that class. Now here is a slight difference for writing constructor in PHP. In PHP, there is no function characteristics of constructor like it is having same name as the class name. No. In PHP, the constructor is having the keyword function, and it starts with the double underscore symbol, and the keyword is construct and having bracket. This is the constructor function in PHP, and we can write the body of the constructor. Now we will see the same code by using constructor. Now here I had used the set function, which I needed to call using object of a class like s1 arrow set. Now suppose if I want to replace this with the constructor, which is special one, so I have to start with the double underscore, and we have to write the keyword as a construct. Now there is no set function, so we will delete it, and there is no need to call this constructor function explicitly. It will get automatically executed when we create object of that class. When we are creating this s1 object, at this line itself it will call that constructor of the class, constructor of our class. We have to just call show function because it is a simple function. Let's see whether program gets executed by this way. We will refresh the file. Yes, we got the output the same. If you want to see the difference, we will make changes in the values so we can observe the changes. 15 and PQR. So, constructor is a special function of a class which is used to assign value to the variable of the class. Why it is special? Because its name is always a construct only. There is no another name for this, and it starts with the double underscore. And importantly, there is no need to call this construct function using object of the class and arrow operator. It is automatically called when we create object of the class. Now, with the constructor concept, there is one more concept, that is destructor. The name itself says it is used to destroy something. It is also a special method, and it destroys the object created by the constructor or by the objects of a class, and it is automatically called when we exit from the program. Now, how we can write the destructor in PHP? It starts with the double underscore and the keyword is destruct. Now we will see how we can write the destructor function in this same code. So suppose here I want to write a destructor, obviously that we have to write within the class body itself. So I am writing destructor here with function keyword double underscore destruct keyword. This is method, that's why bracket. Now in the body, suppose I am writing echo, this is where destructor is running. So let's see where this message we are getting. Now close this bracket, close the class, and again this destructor will automatically get called. There is no need to call it explicitly by using object. Now we will run the code again and we will see what output we get. So just a minute. We have written a constructor over here inside the class show function. Then we have a destruct function. This is where destructor is running. We are closing the bracket of this function and the closing bracket of class. We have called that constructor when we are creating object of a class. Then show function gets executed and this thank you line gets executed. And when we run the code, see at the end we are seeing this is where destructor is running. It means upon the complete execution of our code, this destructor body gets executed automatically, even though we have not called this destructor function explicitly over here anywhere in the code. So destructor will be automatically called when we are exiting from the code. Now we have seen how to implement a class, object, constructor, and destructor concept in PHP. Now sometimes we may need to have the concept of array of object in a code. Array of object means it is a collection of object of the same class, similar class. So we can create array of object. Now, if there is one class and we want to create a multiple object of that class having same properties, and we can create array of this object. Let's see how we can do this implementation. For that we have to create array of object. We have created array by using array function, which is an indexed or numeric array that is created with the array function, and the array name is given over here. We want to create array of objects, so we can give the object name is equal to array. It will create an empty array of object, so this object name will be array. Now this object will be holding many properties of the class. Like in the student class, even though S1 was the object, but S1 was having roll number and name, two properties for one record. So, using individual subscript, we have to give the value for that. So, for the zeroth record, we will create a empty object for the zeroth record, and at the zeroth record for the one variable we will set value, for the zeroth record for second variable we will set the value. As it is object, we have to increment the index. For the first record, again we have to initialize the memory, and for the first record we will assign value to the one property. Then for the first record we will assign value to the second variable. So let's see how we can implement this in the same PHP code that we have written. Now over here, suppose now there is no need of writing this because we are going to set the value individually. So we have a class student with roll number and name, and now suppose I am closing the class. We have regular PHP code where we are printing a message as welcome to OOP concept in PHP. Now we have to create array of object. We have student class. Now we have to create object of student class, but not a single object is sufficient. Now suppose I want to store a record of three students, so I want to create array of object. So suppose I am writing st is equal to array. So what I have done, I am creating array st, name st. So it is an empty array which is numeric or indexed array. So what I want to say, this dollar st, for the zeroth record I want the memory to be allocated as per the student class. So for this zeroth record it should have two blocks, one for roll number, one for name. So for this st of zeroth record, for this st of zeroth record, we should assign the property that the roll number is equal to your value, and for st of zeroth record, the name value is suppose abc. Now we have stored only one record which is at the zeroth index of our st array, having roll number as 11 and name as abc. Now we have to repeat this for second student, which record will be at the index position 1. So we will change the index and storing the roll number, and suppose I am changing the name. Now we have to repeat this for the third student, where the record will be present at the second position in the array, having two properties as a roll number and name, and where I am changing this roll number and name value. Now this st is array. So now we are not going to print this array value separately. We will just have print underscore r function to display this st array. Let's see what do we get. We will execute this code, and what we are getting, welcome to OOP concept in PHP, array of zeroth record we have a student class object having, this is first record, zeroth record, where roll number is having 11, name is equal to abc. This is first record of student object having roll number as a 12 and name as a pqr. This is third record where roll number is having 13 and name is having xyz, and the thank you message is displayed. So at the key we have roll number, and as a value we have the value assigned to it. Whatever number of properties you may have, that will be enclosed in this bracket. And we have saved this, we have represented this as a array of the object. So in this session we have seen about the class concept, which is user defined data type, which is a collection of properties like variable and function. Object is the variable of type class. It is used to access the properties of class outside the class. And we have seen how to implement the class and object in PHP. Constructor. Constructor is a special function which is used to assign values to the variable of the class, and it is automatically called when we create object of the class. The constructor name in PHP is underscore double underscore construct, where destructor is the special method which destroys the object. Again, it is a special one because its name is a double underscore destruct, no other name can be used. And we there is no need to call this destructor explicitly. It is automatically called when we exit from the program. When you want to create multiple object of the same class, so instead of having different names for different object, we can create array of object by using array function. So I hope you have understood this concept. Thank you.